And we all know President Donald Trump is beloved by evangelical Christians. In fact, he won that group by over 80% in 2016. But you're not going to be shocked to find out that despite what he said publicly about faith and his professions of religious faith, that, well, you're not going to be surprised what he thinks about them in private. So there's a story out here in The Atlantic written by McKay Coppins. The story immediately starts out with Donald Trump speaking to Michael Cohen about one of the mega pastors or mega church pastors that we have seen before. And so this is Creflo Dollar. Now, apparently, Donald Trump's a big fan of Creflo Dollar, not because of his religious teachings, but because he's really good at conning people. So remember, this is back when not only Creflo Dollar, but then you had like Kenneth Copeland, all these mega church pastors trying to raise money for their own jets. I mean, that's where the famous Kenneth Copeland tube full of demons thing comes from. So they're all trying to get their followers to pay, like, in this case for Creflo Dollar, about $60 million to buy a private jet. Donald Trump and Creflo Dollar are friends. Knew them personally, right? And so during that meeting, when he had met Creflo Dollar back in 2011, Trump had bowed his head in prayer as the pastors laid hands on him, which, of course, he thought was actual bullshit, as we're going to go on to say in the article, to find out in the article. But still, he really liked Creflo Dollar because of the fact that he's an excellent con man. In fact, Trump, according to Coppins, seemed delighted by the scam, and this is according to Michael Cohen, who spoke to Coppins, and was eager to highlight that the pastor was, quote-unquote, full of shit. They're all hustlers. Well, one hustler knows another. Yeah, they're all hustlers. That's exactly what they do. But look, naturally that doesn't disgust Donald Trump. It makes him giddy. The idea that a scam artist could take advantage of something so personal as somebody's faith, he thinks, great, I can capitalize on that. And he did. Again, you've seen him go and make all sorts of pro-Christian statements. For example, getting in the war on Christmas and saying, now you're allowed to say Merry Christmas again. But we never didn't. We were always able to say Merry Christmas if we wanted to. But, you know, conservatives, super conservative Christians were always like really, really upset when somebody would tell them Happy Holidays. They couldn't stand it. How dare you tell me Happy Holidays? It's Merry Christmas. And so Donald Trump comes along and says, oh, I know how to take advantage of the stupid people. I just tell them that the liberals are saying that you can't say Merry Christmas, which is ridiculous. And then I can come in and say, well, now you can say Merry Christmas again. And it's all because of me. Of course. Jordan Secrist in the chat says, Trump does this on purpose. He plays every side like a sleazebag. Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's more. Now, he has done some things for the Christian community. So it's not like they didn't get anything from this exchange. For example, the embassy was moved to Jerusalem. That inflamed a lot of Muslims, which, of course, he loves, as well as makes a lot of evangelical voters, one of the ones who love the end times prophecies, especially, very, very happy. There's also the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett to Ruth Bader Ginsburg's open SCOTUS seat. Of course, Amy Coney Barrett is part of a cult called the People of Praise. It's a Catholic sect that even mainstream Catholics say, oh, no, that's a cult. They speak in tongues. They believe in, of course, religious patriarchy. And so that's, I guess, a gift to super religious people, because this is somebody who said, well, I don't believe in the right to abortion. What Trump gets out of this, of course, is not only does he get a social conservative champion to help him in the eyes of his followers, but he also gets somebody who's going to overturn Obamacare. So there's that. Now, That's public. In private, Trump's comments about religion were marked by, quote, cynicism and contempt, according to people who have worked for him. In fact, former aides tell McKay Coppins that they've heard Trump ridicule conservative religious leaders, dismiss various faith groups with cartoonish stereotypes, shocker, and deride certain rights and doctrines held sacred by many of the Americans who constitute his base. Now, you guys know I'm not a religious person myself. I'm an atheist. I'm not a fan of any religion. Personally, I don't believe in them. But at the same time, Donald Trump's different. He may be an atheist. He may be agnostic. But instead of allowing people, while not having any faith of his own, to do what they're going to do, to believe what they're going to believe, he actively takes advantage of them, literally uses them for his own advantage, and then mocks them behind his back, or behind their backs. His view, according to McCoppins, was, and this is from a Trump advisor, quote, I've been talking to these people for years. I've let them stay at my hotels. They're going to endorse me. I played the game. That's all it is. It's just a game. It helped that Trump had seemed to feel a kinship with prosperity preachers, like Creflo Dollar, often evincing a game recognizes game appreciation for their hustle. The former campaign advisor also recalled showing his boss a YouTube video of the Israeli televangelist Benny Hinn performing basically what's called faith healings. While Trump laughed at the spectacle and muttered, man, that's some racket, which is true. I can't disagree with that, but nonetheless, on another occasion, the advisor told Coppins that Trump expressed awe at Joel Osteen's media empire, particularly their viewership. Oh, look at the ratings, the greatest ratings. You want to laugh, by the way. Follow Joel Dongstein on Twitter. You won't be disappointed. All right. So there's more. In Cohen's recent memoir, Disloyal, he also recounts Trump returning from a 2011 meeting with those pastors who laid hands on him and said, quote, can you believe that bullshit? Exactly. Now, look, here's the thing about Trump. Trump, yes, he's in the White House. We all know this, right? It's not really a controversial thing to say. But he's got all these people around him in the White House that are Christians. People like Mike Pence, they call themselves Christian, right? And so he's got all these self-professed, super religious evangelical leaders around him. They had to know. Well, apparently they did. They don't give a damn, apparently, as long as Donald Trump plays their game. In a September 2016 meeting with about a dozen influential figures in the religious right, including talk radio host Eric Metaxas, Dallas megachurch pastor Robert Jeffress, and Wayne Grudem, were recorded talking to Trump about religion. Basically, Trump says and admits, I don't know the Bible as well as some of the other people. And also joked about his inexperience with prayer. He said, the first time I met Mike, he said, will you bow your head and pray? And I said, excuse me, I'm not used to it. At one point in the meeting, Trump also interrupted a discussion about religious freedom to complain about Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska and brag about his nickname. Quote, I call him Little Ben Sasse. I have to do it. I'm sorry. That's when my religion always deserts me. As if that's clever. Little Ben Sasse. What? What kind of nick? It doesn't make any sense. All right. Guy's a moron. And he thinks he's so goddamn smart and clever. It's amazing. And yet, by the end of the meeting, of course, while all these religious leaders were basically talking about, they were basically shitting on trans people. By the way, trans rights. apparently they had, Donald Trump had their support by the end of the meeting. He said, I'm not voting, this is Jeffress, I'm not voting for Trump to be the teacher of my third grader Sunday school. That's not what he's running for. I believe it is imperative that we do everything we can to turn people out. It's because Donald Trump's a useful idiot. Yeah, they think, well, look, I don't care if he's a Christian or not. We're going to get what we want from him. So what does it matter if he believes in our faith? And so let's understand, too, that they all know, all these followers, they know, all these leaders, they know, they don't care because they think through him, we're going to get what we want and it's going to be effective. And of course, it was effective. They did get stuff that they want. And as a result, Donald Trump got over 80% of the evangelical vote, the turnout. It's amazing. And of course, now they're working on the Mormons, but I'll get to that. Now, to those who have known and worked with Donald Trump closely, the notion that he was in any way religious was viewed as a joke. Barbara Rez, former executive at Trump Organization, said, I always assumed he was an atheist. AJ Delgado, who worked on his 2016 campaign, told Coppins, quote, he's not a religious guy. Mary Trump, the president's niece, says, quote, whenever I see a picture of him standing in a group of pastors, all their hands on him, I see a thought bubble with the words, what suckers? Suckers, rubes, dupes. And it's not just Christianity. I'll get to the Mormons, but you also have the Jews, right? So he tries to use Jewish people for his own gain as well, and then mocks them. Last week, the Washington Post reported that after calls with Jewish lawmakers, the president said, because he didn't get their support, that the Jews are only in it for themselves, which you know is a deeply anti-Semitic trope. Cohen also told Coppins that years ago, he was with Trump when his wife, Melania, informed him that their son was at a play date with a Jewish girl from his school, and he replied, great. I'm going to lose another of my kids to your people. And this is him talking to Cohen. Michael Cohen, of course, is Jewish, which I didn't know for sure, but now we do. Michael Cohen, Jewish. Oh, I'm going to lose another kid to you people. What the hell, man? What the hell? So there's one more interesting thing, as I said, the Mormon stuff. So now the Trump campaign has been working in a massive outreach to the Mormons. So now they did not do well with the Mormons in 2016, and they've been working on it for the past 4 years to try to make inroads into that community. It didn't really help that that Donald Trump himself went after Romney really, really hard, as well as, of course, immigration. But at some point, they've been able to make a breakthrough, and they were using Don Jr. to do so. In fact, according to some sources in the story, Don Jr. had openly talked about converting to Mormonism. Oh, how shameless is this family. How absolutely, utterly shameful are these people. Super gross and opportunistic. Oh, yes, Don Jr. Oh, I'm totally into the tenets of Mormonism. I can't wait to read the Golden Plates with Moroni. And I can't wait to see what kind of planet I get after I die and the underwear. Can't wait to get that magic underwear. Come on, dude. Really? I don't believe it at all. I don't believe it at all. They're such fake people. Fake people. Fake news. Here's another example of how they really feel about Mormons. When Coppins interviewed Trump back in 2014 at Mar-a-Lago, Trump was making fun of Mormons and said that his religion lost him the election. So now here's the thing. You know what lost Mitt Romney the election? It was Mitt Romney saying that 47% of the American public were moochers and losers. That was enough to lose him the election. Now, of course, Donald Trump calls everybody a loser. Even soldiers, losers and suckers. Suckers and dopes. If you serve your country and you die, well, you're a dope. You're a sucker. That's according to Donald Trump. Now, what's funny is Coppins himself is Mormon. And so he's like, hey, I'm a Mormon, right? And his response tells everything. Trump then quickly changed tack, extolling the church's many virtues, and then switching subjects. Because of course he did. Oh, you're Mormon? No. Tremendous. Mormonism, tremendous church. Golden plates, wonderful. The greatest golden plates you've ever seen. Beautiful. He's such a fake person. Such a fake person. Now, when Coppin shared the story with Cohen laughed, and Trump, he said, frequently made fun of Romney's faith in private and was especially vicious when he learned about the religious undergarments worn by many Latter-day Saints. He's going after the underwear. Oh my God, Cohen said. How many times did he bring up Mitt Romney and the undergarments? Look, man, this just goes back to what we've said before. He thinks you're stupid. He thinks everybody is stupid and that he's the smartest person in the world. Really. He thinks that we can't tell that he treats people as marks, right? As useful idiots. And behind the scenes, of course, hates you, hates your faith, hates everything about you. As long as you're useful to him, though. Thinks you're disgusting. Glad he doesn't have to shake your disgusting hand because of COVID, okay? And yet he is savvy enough, by the way. Not smart. Smart's something different. He's savvy enough to actually humor you, to screw you over in front of your face, to lie to you, to be able to so effectively gaslight you into believing the things that he says. And to reinforce it, is able to give you things, right? Because he's a transactional person. He understands, at least in that part, how to deal, right? And so, and he'll give you these things so long as it doesn't negatively affect his life whatsoever. So, I got some examples, right? Abortion rights. So, he's not a woman. Rich people can get abortions anytime they want, even when they're outlawed. So, yeah, of course he's going to appoint somebody that's going to go after abortion. Yeah, he's going to talk shit about abortion. Trans rights, for example. He's not trans. He doesn't know any trans people. He doesn't give a damn. The embassy doesn't care. Again, he thinks it's going to give him Jewish voters, and as well as the evangelical Christians who believe in the crazy end times. It's a double win for him. None of the negative things that he has done in the name of religion to other people, to people who are harmed by these things, affects him at all. So he doesn't care. He's going to do it also that he can get your vote. And that's it. That's it. And this arrangement seems to be pretty good for conservative Christian leaders and megachurch pastors who will continue to make more and more money and pay very, very little, if anything, in taxes. And so at the end of the day, to those people, as well as the base, they're not going to care if he thinks that they're idiots in private. It doesn't matter to them. Ironically, it's that same principle that he and I do agree in. They are idiots. Donald Trump's religious followers are not smart people. They're dumb people, but at least I'm honest about that, and I'm willing to go on the record saying so.